Hi again, and welcome to the Citiuation Room, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. On Citiuation Masia, where we talk politics, as the NPP, the biggest opposition political party in Ghana, prepares for the January 31st, 2026 elections to elect a new presidential candidate for the party ahead of the 2028 general election. We touch base with the various campaigns of the various aspirants. As you're aware, 5 of them have declared their intent and have filed the processes to lead the NPP go into the elections of 2028. Today, on the Citiuation Room, we'll go to the various camps and find out how the campaign of their leaders or their flag bearer hopefuls are doing. You're welcome back. You're still watching the Citiuation Room, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. My name is Sami Wiafe, and as always, I do it with my friend, brother, and partner in crime, Fred Tete Jabana. As I mentioned earlier, today we are doing the NPP and their politics. As you're aware, the party is preparing to elect a new flag bearer going into the elections of 2028. And already 5 individuals have declared their intent, picked up forms, and submitted same to the National Executive Committee of the party, officially declaring them as aspirants for the NPP's presidential race. On Saturday, the 31st of January 2026, delegates across the country on the ticket of the NPP will hold this crucial election to elect their leader, go into the election of 2028. And as I mentioned earlier, today we'll touch base with the camps of the various aspirants. They've been campaigning across the length and breadth of the country. Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, the party's presidential candidate in the 2024 election, as in the Ashanti region. Kennedy Ejapon, another aspirant in this race, is somewhere in the Bono region. Kwabene J. Japon, who is also an aspirant, Dr. Bane Champon, we are told, will begin his campaign somewhere next year. But already some delegates in the Agona West constituency are throwing their weight behind him. Also, Dr. Edu Chum, former education minister, is in the race, and we are told that he's also campaigning to be the party's next leader. So all five individuals are crisscrossing the length and breadth of this country and even outside the country to seek support of NPP delegates as they prepare to elect a new flag bearer. So today our discussion will be on the NPP, touch base with the various aspirants and their campaign, where they've been so far, the campaign message, the response, and the feedback from delegates. But before we go into that conversation, I have a conversation with the latest developments within the country, political issues as well. Just this weekend, right? Yes, Dr. Ali Duseidu, Professor Ali Duseidu, from the University of Ghana. He lectured all of us political science. He has decided to contest on the ticket of the NDC in the Tamale Central constituency, following the passing of the late member of parliament for the area. I was a bit surprised when I heard or I saw him in that particular race. I don't know if the same with Fred. Were you surprised?
I wasn't surprised, especially when he was made the head of the Water Resources Commission. So when I heard that he wanted to contest that particular seat in the primaries, I wasn't surprised, because taking a position, and you know how this country runs, you sometimes need to be aligned, almost all the time, need to be aligned to be able to get some positions. And when the NDC won power in 2024, he was appointed as the head of the Water Resources Commission. So I wasn't surprised. What actually surprised me is the amount of votes he got, the difference between him and the second runner-up, in the first runner-up in the particular case, elections. That's what surprised me. Otherwise, his appearance to contest the Tamale Central seat did not surprise me. What we are told is that the seats, that particular election, were made to believe that was going to be very close. Yeah. We're made to believe we're going to be very close. And we also know from digging into issues over there that the MP for Tamale South, Haruna Idrisu, also had a major role to play, a major one. Had a very, some influence in that particular election. And eventually, who we are told was his candidate, Professor Ali Duseidu, won that particular seat. And don't forget the history of the Tamale seats and the role Haruna Idrisu has played within the Tamale enclave. How his influence...
People call him the unofficial mayor of Tamale.
How his influence spreads through the entire Tamale enclave. It came to me as a big surprise looking at the difference, but then he has won, and what we are being told is that the other political parties who initially intended to contest the elections, the LPG and I think the CPP,
the PNC,
the PNC,
yeah,
have decided to withdraw from the race.
Okay.
So as it speaks now, we only have the NDC who will be contesting.
Then that will not be an election. It will just be a popular acclamation.
Yes, it's going to be an acclamation. Yeah. If nobody else comes, maybe an independent person may pop up from somewhere. But
already the NPP had written that they were not going to contest that particular seat.
Yes. So at the end of the filing of nominations, if it's just Professor Alidu, you go his face, you go vote on yes or no, and then we'll see what happens. So when it comes to the NDC and primaries and parliament, we know that Professor Saidu Alidu will be contesting on the ticket of the NDC. And as it stands now, he's the only candidate who might be contesting the seat during the by-elections.
In just 1 minute, yesterday the President of the Republic on Wednesday met journalists. You were impressed with the level of questioning from our colleagues?
Yes, Sami, I was impressed. The questions came from different sectors of a country and governance. We saw questions from economy, Galamsey, the fight against Galamsey, security, even from the regions, roads and developments within the regions. I think that our colleagues did a great job yesterday in posing questions to the president. And I think that the president also did well through his answers. He brought some understanding as to how his government has been run so far in the last 8 to 9 months. So I think yesterday's event should be one we should applaud. But I would ask that the president should do this more often. And in doing this more often, what he should also be doing is to allow more questions. Because yesterday, when you look at the number of journalists at the event and a number of them who had the opportunity to question the president, the numbers were not too good. So I hope that more of these events will be held, and this time round, more people will be given an opportunity to ask questions.
His name is Fred Tete Jabano. My name is Sami Wiafi, and this is the Situation coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. We focus now on our main discussion for today. The New Patriotic Party, the NPP, says on the 31st of January 2026, it will elect a new flag bearer who will lead the party going into the 2028 general election. The NPP is confident that it can recapture political power after the election of 2028. Today, we'll touch base with the camps of the various aspirants. As you're aware, 5 people have decided to contest to lead the NPP. Former presidential candidate Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, Canadian Japan, former MP for Asin Central, former Education Minister Dr. Yaose Educhum, former General Secretary of the party, Kwabene J. Japan, and former Agric Minister, Dr. Brian Echampo. 5 individuals from the NPP say they want to lead the party into the election of 2028. Today, we'll touch base with the camps of these aspirants. What have they been up to? What has been the message? What has been the response? And what has been the feedback from delegates? As you're aware, in this particular primaries, over 400,000 delegates of the NPP, per the constitutional amendment the NPP did some months ago, are eligible to vote in this all-important election for the NPP. We'll start with Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. He's been in the Ashanti region, talking to delegates and convincing them why they should vote him as the new leader or repeat him as the party's presidential candidate in the 2028 general election. He's been touting his achievements and what he believes he will be the party's best bet in going into the election of 2028. He says he's the party's biggest and quickest transition to the Jubilee House, and so delegates should elect him to be the party's flag bearer again.
Scramofo, Zongofo, Omoan Tuaba, Ama, Dr. Bawumia. Samotie. Hey, Metie, Messi, hey, na data wahi. Because media Ubeka Inchiremes, Asema me here, Ejina so, Messi, for data bra. Na but sa propaganda no na emu edin papa na enenam bibia say oh kramofo anto aba ma Dr. Bawumia ma anto ama Dr. Bawumia. But me share data no mu. The story is different. In fact, Zongos no yenya votes in 2024 esin votes are yenya in 2020. Now presidential aspirant Bako Eko Jina Hoka say Dr. Bawumia Zongos no only one polling station and Owini the whole country. Samoti or say one the whole country. What is that propaganda? Say the whole country Zongos Dr. Bawumia Winnie only one polling station. Ewo a futu ho baby. Me say, hey, you share data imu and fambra abonting. You share data no sa presidential aspirant ni zongo no ani zongo me wini wo ho. Ni ani zongo me wini wo ho. Na uba Ashanti ya uba hu said many of the zongos ye happy votes even though ye winning many constituencies, but in terms of the votes no many uba Fomenaha Amadia SHS ye we winning ho SHS-A SHS-B Bekwai Sawaba Fish Pond 1 Sawaba Fish Pond 2 Subin, Ahmadiyya Primary School, Ahmadiyya Primary School 2, Ahmadiyya Secondary School, so many polling stations. But the data across the whole country, Shere say, we did better in the Zongos in 2024 than in 2020. So, why are propaganda ewoho? Nipa ekasa without data because omo pese omo ye konkonsa. Enyasa konkonsa de unhia data odi two system no na enam na ekọ. Enyasa but odi konkonsa ba me ho a me ma na agina ho me the data no ebe confront you.
That's Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. He was the NPP's presidential candidate in the 2024 election and the former vice president of this country. He wants to lead the party again going into the election of 2028. Fred, he was dismissing allegations that his own Zongo people did not vote for him in the last election.
Yes, these allegations were made by Dr. Barney Champon during one of his campaign talks, where he indicated that party members should look at the last election, look at the data from the last election, and you realize that Dr. Bawumia failed to deliver the Zongo votes and Muslim votes as he promised in the 2024 elections. So then, if that is supposed to be his stronghold or one of his strongholds within the electoral divide, if he couldn't do that, then he shouldn't be given an opportunity to lead the party. And Dr. Bawumia had responded that he deals with data. And per his data, he had won a number of these Zongo votes. And he made mention of Fomena where he was addressing the party delegates. That in Fomena, for example, he won the Zongo votes in the Zongo area A and B polling stations. So he is dismissing the fact that he cannot bring the Zongo votes. He cannot bring the Muslim votes.
Okay. Let's go to the camp of Dr. Bawumia now, and let's speak to Deputy Spokesperson for the campaign, Agba Humeni, joins us on Zoom on this conversation. Agba, thank you very much for your time. Agba, can you hear me? Hello, Agba. I'm afraid Agba's connection is challenging at the moment. We'll try to raise him again on the telephone, on the Zoom, and then speak to him again. Now, away from the camp of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, let's go to the camp of Kennedy Japan. He's also been campaigning. He was in the Western North region, but he's moved to the Bono region now as we speak, and then telling delegates why he should be on the party's ballots. He believes that he's the best choice for the NPP if the party really wants to recapture political power.
executive for more. Baby, a party not wrong. You are here. A big good CPP, a good young. It is no more. Momayan Tuama, any Canadian Japan, no man build a party medium. Yet to me, Mamma Bra and Yapa. Yet to me, I shot Yatiasi, Emma NPP move. Uncle and Crabby, your tea. Omo Quanti, baby, I'm a brother and Fanto. Muslim, I got the name from, and I'm in police station for executive Nepamucho. When I'm Suka Manua, if he said, Saunti said, Obi di Matamwa, Saunti said, Obi di Matamwa. Naturally, me fighting and me fighting Mamunti. If you say, to me catch them time from Mumwa party for Mumwa grassroots, Kakramwa in Bino, Babiano Manjaman West Money. Why to me as son, second and the other pony or Casarabo, with the deep party for them. Erunti na monya otan amame otan na monya amame mesumenya otan enam so be different muti timasram tumino ashom sam monya kiyamum bi anye party nsiro samunyi bia monya ko bontini so ha ni emisa akontomra se NPP for a contest. Why Anna Modinaba, Yabatua Bamam? Who come as a Mufat in the Japomra, Abatuama? What in Basing, as if I can be a Japomra, Abatuama? What in Trotro, as if I can be a Japomra, Abatuama? What in Chomba, as if I can be a Japomra, Abatuama? No failure, a beer, Anna. Mommy and Kevin, the any party is here. Someone in India, Mommy and Cop on Tiniswa, near Missa, a contomra. Sir, NPP for a contest. Why Anna Modinaba, Yabatua Bamam? Who come as a Mufat in the Japomra, Abatuama? What in Basing, as if I can be a Japomra. Yabatuama, Uti Trotro, Yasifa Canadian Japobra, Yabatuama, Uti Chomba, Yasifa Canadian Japobra, Yabatuama, no failure, a beer, and NPP for a pay.
Former Assistant Central MP, Kennedy Ohene Japan, he wants to lead the NPP going into the election of 2028. Let's try Agba again to see this time we'll get a better connection and speak to him from the Dr. Baumia camp before we go to Kwesi Kwati, who speaks for the Kennedy Japan campaign team. Agba, can you hear me? Is the line better now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Definitely. Thank you very much. Your boss was in the Ashanti region. Telling delegates why they should vote for him again to lead the NPP going into the election of 2028. Why should they vote for him again?
Well, you know, it is important that we pay attention to history. And if you were listening to him, you would have heard him say clearly that he is the fastest path as far as the NPP's journey towards victory in 2028 is concerned. And this position is grounded in history. I mean, post-1996, we have seen a certain tradition, both in the NPP and in the NDC. And that tradition has to do with the repetition of candidates, you know, because the political parties have come to accept that, you know, repetition of candidates gives you a better shot at the presidency. And so if you notice from 1996 all the way to 2024, we have seen instances where the NPP and the NDC have had to repeat candidates in order to secure victory. So we're saying that as far as the NPP's quickest route is concerned, it has to be Dr. Bawumia if we intend to win power in 2028. Not only is it a question of repetition, it is also a question of name recognition, all right, vis-a-vis who the NDC would be presenting in 2028. Nobody is in doubt today that the NDC would be electing a new presidential candidate in 2028. That puts the 2028 election on complete balance. Therefore, if the NPP were to present the candidate that it presented in 2024, it would make the campaign of the NPP quite easier. Apart from the issue of repetition and the issue of name recognition, we are very much convinced that of the 5 people who are running to lead the NPP, it is only Dr. Bawumia who has the Ghana factor. And when I say the Ghana factor, I mean somebody who can be an effective president, somebody who has the best of ideas, ideas capable of transforming our country. Look, Sammy, the whole business of this politics is to contribute to the rapid transformation of our country. I'm sure we are all witnesses to what is happening in Nepal in the last 3 days. The fact that people are disillusioned if governments are unable to deliver prosperity is something that we cannot dismiss in this country. And therefore, both political parties, has a duty, in the choice of who they present to run for president. And we're saying that as far as the 5 individuals in the NPP are concerned, if we're looking for somebody who has the best of ideas capable of transforming our country and delivering prosperity to our people, then that person is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
How do you react to people who say that you brought him once, he wasn't marketable enough? Repeating him will result in the same way. And so it's better if we bring a new candidate altogether. How do you react to people who say this?
Our electoral history does not support it. In any case, like I said, our electoral history does not support it. The NPP had to repeat Kufuor for the 2000 elections, notwithstanding the fact that he got 39% in the 1996 elections.
But those, sorry to cut in, but those who make those arguments use the numbers. They believe that these individuals, Kufuor, Akufo-Addo, and the rest, the gap was closer, unlike your boss, whose gap was a bit wide. And so people say that making this argument do not add up.
I'm saying to you that President Kufuor had 39%. Dr. Bawumia had 41.8%. But notwithstanding President Kufuor's performance in 1996, the delegates in their wisdom realized that our quickest path to the presidency was to repeat him for the 2000 elections. They repeated him, we won. Indeed, the NDC learned from the decision of the NPP by repeating Professor Mills for the 2004 and 2008 elections, which eventually secured them victory. And that's why I said that the electoral history of our country, at least for both the NPP and the NDC, does not lend credence to the assertion that a repetition of a candidate in Dr. Bawumia in 2028 will not do the trick for the NPP. We believe that he's the most prepared, he's the most formidable, he's the most marketed as far as the 2028 elections are concerned, not just in the New Patriotic Party, but also in the National Democratic Congress.
Agba, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. I'll talk to you again before the show ends. Agba, who speaks for or deputy spokesperson for the Dr. Mahamudu campaign team. Let me go to the other camp and speak to Kwesi Kwati. He speaks for the Kennedy or Japan campaign team. You saw him in your short a while ago. He says that it's about time the NPP brings a new candidate, a new face, who will lead the party going to the election of 2028. Kwesi, thank you very much. If you can hear me, your boss says we should try him and that he will be the best choice who will bring victory to the NPP come election 2028. Why should delegates put their trust in him?
Thank you very much. And a very good afternoon to our cherished viewers. Good afternoon to you, Sammy, and my friends and seniors also on the line. Let me take it from where my senior Agba ended. I think he gave the history of the party and situated it within a certain context to support the argument that a candidate A or candidate B must be brought by the party to contest in the 2028 elections and win its power. It is also important to highlight that in the NPP, the privilege of a second presidential bid at every point, the history tells us that has never been automatic. And we must always remind ourselves that based on the same history, it is not just a reward simply for showing up. And it has always been benchmarked on recognition and through strong performance in the previous general election. Indeed, our history has proven that every candidate who has been given a second chance first demonstrated the capacity to grow the party's vote share and inspire confidence for victory. Where that performance falters, the party has always trusted its delegates to choose a deep path. And that is where we are now. Interestingly, in our previous performance, the data is there and available for all of us to peruse. And so we'll be guided by the data and then make the consequential decisions. But of course, I don't want to bore you with the figures once again, just that I want to take a quick bite on the earlier video that you played where Dr. Baumia was trying to downplay what Dr. Brian Champon said on his performance in the Zongos. He spoke about the data does not support that, but indeed he didn't provide any evidence to support that claim. So respectfully, I will call on his team and himself to provide data to support the fact that indeed, in terms of his performance in the Zongos, it outweighs that of the 2020 elections. You do not make a case without providing evidence to support it. But this is the point of Kennedy Japan, that in the spirit of revival of the party, in the spirit of party harmony, we've had an establishment that has been around for the past 16 years. Indeed, if you had any ideas within the past 16 years being in the helms of affairs or the leadership of the party, 16 years is quite reasonable for you to propose or implement any ideas that you have. After 16 years, it is only proper and fair that you step aside for other people to also to continue. I'm not sure Dr. Baumia will have any unique and any extraordinary ideas to propose again, especially having been in the helm of affairs or control of the party for the past 16 years. That is half of the life of the party's existence. Again, we are saying that if you look at the Kennedy Japan's touch with the base, the grassroots, his consistent advocacy for the grassroots, his alignment with the grassroots, which ordinarily, they are the people that will always go and campaign and bring the vote. His acceptability, his marketability. And let me use this opportunity to explain this point. It's very crucial. People always confuse visibility with marketability. Visibility is presence. So somebody may be visible, but may not necessarily be marketable. When you are talking about marketability, we are talking about credibility, where people trust you, where people recognize you, that you take responsibility for situations, whether good or bad. And based on that, they are able to have some confidence in you, and that inures to your credibility. So credibility then translates into marketability. And of course, it's also equal to acceptance. So, don't let us miss the two. In the case of this current discussion, we are talking about how the person will be accepted by the people. And we are making a strong case that Kennedy Japan, with his advocacy, with his entrepreneurial work, jobs that he created for the people, Ghanaians noting him for that, his character traits, being bold, courageous, fearless. These are all trademarks of every great leader, that we make a very strong and superior case that at a crucial time like this, like I indicated, in the spirit of the party's revival, we need somebody like Kennedy Japan to rescue power for the NPP. Other than that, no matter how rich your ideas are, well, for me, I don't believe there is one single human being who has inherent, some powers to conjure some ideas. Some challenges as a country has always been systemic. We know them, and we know the solutions with them. The solutions are not ideas. The solutions has more to do with having the political will and the tenacity to make implementation or make decisions. It has never been premised on any ideas. The ideas has always been there.
Okay.
All about the character to implement, and that is where Canada Japan stands strong. So, I mean, in ending, we are concluding that based on the same history, based on the same record, if you look at the trajectory of NPP, our vote has always been in the ascending order. It is only Dr. Bawumia that has brought it in the downward trend. And so history does not support him. Just like Professor Dubois, when he failed to perform, the delegates spoke very clearly and loudly that in MPP, the only caveat for giving you a second chance has always been contingent on performance.
Just hold on. Fred has a quick question for you before you go.
Yes, Kwesi, you've talked about unity, you've talked about acceptability and marketability. There are many people who believe that the party's 2024 defeat, your candidate cannot absolve himself of blame, in the sense that some of his comments, some of his actions in the primaries before that election also affected your candidate, which is Dr. Bawumia. Now, this candidate, he's been presented again. Your candidate comes up again. The question is, how is your candidate going to unite the party? From where people stand, your candidate is a divisive figure and cannot unite the party. And as the party heads to 2028, you need a united party. So what do you say to the people who say your candidate cannot unite the party ahead of the 2028 elections?
Well, I mean, very impressive question. I've heard it so many times. We've answered it so many times. I mean, let's be blunt and call a spade a spade. It's not Ghana, it's Dr. Bawumia's campaign team that has been propagating that falsehood. But for emphasis, I'm not sure Canada Japan's comments resulted in the DDEP. I'm not sure it was Canada Japan who said when the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. I'm not sure the economic mess, it was Canada Japan who was in control and was the head of the economic management team. And for that matter, he occasioned that. The NAPCO people that we failed to pay, I'm not sure it was Canada Japan who engineered that. I mean, the list can go on. 1,001 of them, all the mess in the system.
Hello, Kwesi.
Are you asking another question? When the party folks were calling for, how do you call it, the reshuffle? I'm not sure Japan who opposed it. The list are there, the reasons are there. When comments were being made that we're going to bring Muslim votes, I'm not sure it was Canada Japan who said it. When comments were made that we have arrested the CD and giving the dollar and giving the keys to the IGP, I'm not sure it was Canada Japan who mentioned it. So this approach of always running away from responsibility, I call it responsibility fugitiveness, and I'm not sure it depicts that of a good leader. The greatest trademark of a good leader is to accept responsibility, whether good or bad.
Okay.
You cannot reprobate and approbate. Any good thing within the government was done by Dr. Bawumia. Every bad thing is either Akufo-Addo or Brian Chapo or any other person.
Okay, Kwesi. Okay, Kwesi, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Kwesi Kwati speaks for the Kennedy One-Year Japan campaign team. His boss is in the Bono region campaigning ahead of the NPP's National Delegate Congress to elect a new presidential candidate. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll go to the camp of Dr. Brian Champo and Dr. Yao Osei-Duchum. We'll speak to their spokesperson as well and find out how the campaign has been for them wherever they are. You're welcome back. You're still watching The Citiuation. We're coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. Today, we're talking about the NPP and their politics, and as the party prepares for the 2028 elections. The party is electing a flag bearer on January 31st, 2026. 5 individuals say they want to lead the party go into the election. We've been to the camp of Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia. We've been to the camp of Kennedy One-Year Japan. Now, we go to the camp of Dr. Brian Champo. He released a video, I think, earlier this morning, saying that in the coming weeks, we will see him in our various constituencies and polling stations across the country as he begins his campaign to lead the NPP go into the election of 2028.
In the coming days, I'll be visiting your constituency. I look forward to seeing you as we discuss how we progress with a new patriotic party. Look out for the schedules on my social media handles. My guy, next week I will do your constituency. Maybe we can discuss NPP and how we go move this party forward with Dr. Buying a champion. Everything go good. When you mean Asundri and come. Medamos.
That's Dr. Brian Echampo, former Agric Minister, current member of Parliament for the BTF constituency. He wants to be the next leader who will lead the NPP going to the election of the 2028. Let's go to his camp and speak to Pius Henam Ajide. He speaks for the Dr. Brian Echampo campaign team. Pius, thank you very much for your time. Your boss says he will start his campaigning next week. There are others who are already on the road. What's the strategy? Why wait till next week?
Well, thank you very much. Sami, good afternoon to you, our cherished viewers and my colleagues on the call. Indeed, the next flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, and inshallah, the next president of Ghana, Dr. Brian Echampo, will be on the road very, very soon to engage with the leadership, the rank and file of our party. In the meantime, he continues to engage with key stakeholders, building broad consensus, and also driving his message of hope and his message of restoration. The NPP has to be restored. We lost the last elections with unprecedented numbers, and it is not a place that any NPP person would love to be in. Several arguments are...
Hello, Pius.
The argument of the... Hello?
I can hear you. There was a bit of a break.
With me. You have to bear with me. We're on the road at the moment. I've had to pull over to engage with you. So if there are any breaks in transmission, please do bear with me. But like I was saying, I've heard the arguments being canvassed, but I respectfully submit that the second chance argument that my brother Akbar raised appears rather simplistic. Akbar must pay some attention to the data that underscores the need to repeat a candidate or otherwise. I think that that decision has always been performance-based. And so we will have to review the performance of the candidate in the previous election to consider a repetition or otherwise. And in this day and age also, where technology is at its best, I'm far away from you, but you are having this engagement to me via Zoom and so on. The argument of name recognition and so on is also maybe the least of our worries. 3 years is more than enough time to market a really and truly marketable candidate. And we believe that Dr. Brian Echampo is really and truly a marketable candidate. What are his unique propositions? His ability to unify the party. And research upon research, you can refer to the Michael Quay report, for instance, the research conducted by the Asante Regional Party. You can also refer to the Conrad Adenauer Foundation report. One of our strategic limitations has been disunity. And the preceding conversations have underscored the point that there is the need for a unifier, somebody who stands in the middle, somebody who has not been accused by one of the parties as being responsible for the loss, or somebody who, in the question of the colleague of yours who is helping you to co-moderate this conversation, has also been accused of one thing or the other. And so Dr. Brian Echampo stands in the middle. He is able to unify this party because he is able to bring on board all the persons who probably will contest this election and not win, and then he can forge a united front with them. Again, Dr. Brian Echampo has great youth appeal, and we cannot underrate the influence of that constituency in terms of the demography of Ghana. Young people constitute the vast majority of the voting population. Dr. Brian Echampo appeals to them. The young people see themselves in him. Also, the young people see in Dr. Brian Echampo a practical example of a solution to their problems, one of them being his ability to create jobs. In his private capacity as an entrepreneur, Dr. Brian Echampo has employed several thousands of young people and pays them good salary regularly. He owns a huge businesses. And he's into hospitality, he's into IT, he's into the media. And so the young people are inspired by what Dr. Brana Champon has been able to do in private capacity, and therefore are easily going to be motivated to vote for him to occupy the high office of president, in the belief that he can repeat the same dose even in public service. Again, Dr. Brana Champon resonates with the base of our party. We have been talking about apathy. And Dr. Brana Champon answers to that question of apathy. And that's why he's been promising that he will devolve party from the center to the party base, because he recognizes that it is the party that will birth his government. He appeals to our core constituencies. If we get Ashanti region voting the way they used to vote, if we get Eastern region voting the Bono and the Ahafo areas, Western region, Western or Central, if we get them voting the way that these regions used to vote for the New Patriotic Party, and we get strong campaign teams and personalities and messages, and we're able to hold our own in the Volta regions, in the northern regions, in the other regions, like the NPP does, we shall get back onto our winning ways.
Pius, hold on. Pius, we are running out of time, but then Fred has a quick question for you on the same campaign, the campaign trail.
So, Pius, you talked about appeal, your candidate having both national and internal appeal when it comes to the delegates and voters at large. But recent polls show otherwise. Your candidate, when he was put up against your other candidates in this particular race, did not show up. Are you sure that what you are seeing on the ground, or what you believe to be seeing on the ground, is what it is?
Well, I don't think that the polls reflect what we are seeing on the ground. I'm on the ground right now. I've had to pull over so I can engage with you. We are listening to the delegates. I'm not about to discuss the methodology of any body's polling, because I'm not aware of what their methodology is. I don't know what their sample size is. But I do know, as a matter of general observation, that sometimes these pollings can become psychological operations to create a misleading impression. I do not know specifically, and I do not want to speak specifically about any polling, but we have been doing our own pollings. Yes, I can admit at this point that Dr. Brana Champon is not in the lead. According to our own polls indicate to us that Dr. Brian is in a neck-to-neck with the leader. He's number 2 and a neck-to-neck with the front runner. In fact, the trend analysis indicates to us that Dr. Brana Champon is the fastest growing candidate in this race. Whilst others are losing ground, Dr. Brana Champon is gaining ground. And he has just announced that in the coming days, he will hit the ground. And even before hitting the ground, the man has picked points and has become number 2 and is neck to neck with the front runner. We believe that when Dr. Brana Champon hits the ground and his message of restoration and hope percolates to the ground, people will receive him like they are receiving him already. And then in the next polling that will be done, we are confident that Dr. Brana Champon will lead. But what is our belief? Our belief is that the best of polls will occur on the 31st of January of 2026. That is the one real and true poll, and we shall win in that poll.
Okay, Pius, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Pius Enam Hajide speaks for the Dr. Brian Champon campaign team, one of the aspirants hoping to lead the NPP going into the election of 2028. Let's go on to the other line and speak to Yao Opoku Mensah. Yao Opoku Mensah speaks for Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, former education minister, and one of the 5 individuals who also want to lead the NPP going to the election of 2028. Yao, thank you very much for your time. Where's your boss? We've not seen him campaigning.
Let me say a good afternoon to yourself and to our lovely viewers and to my colleagues on the other line. What you need to appreciate is that this whole process is an internal process, and therefore the fanfare with it, the noise all over within the media space, yes, may probably make somebody visible, but the aspect of acceptability and the marketability will depend on how you deal with the delegates, and that is how we are treating this whole process. We are engaging, and it's a strategic engagement, a one-on-one, straight down to the polling station. And I don't think that if I need the polling station chairman for Amokom Division electoral area in Subin in the Ashanti region, I should be in the media space to be announcing that or to be seeking for his audience when I know where I can meet him, when I know where he stays, when I have his number, and the possible means of getting him to engage him, for him to accept and understand what is new, and understand that we need a candidate who, per the historical antecedent or whatever that they bandied around, represent what the NPP knows. And what the NPP knows is that, fortunately for us, my candidate is coming from the strongest hold of the NPP. And the historical numbers and all the dynamics should point to you that the history of the NPP from 1992, from the days of Professor Dubois to that of Ronaldo Danko Akufo-Addo, tells a certain pattern. And that pattern is that an Ashanti regional factor moves the fortunes of the NPP better in all aspects when you begin to put out the numbers. And once that factor emanates and raises its head, the other aspect has got to do with the party embracing it and the Ashanti region giving out the numbers. And once we get that footing in there, then we are good to go. And that is what Dr. Osei is offering my party and the good people of Ghana. Mind you, we are not just looking for any candidate. We are looking for a presidential candidate, a potential president in 2028. And if you look across among the other aspirants, one candidate stands out. You are looking at a reformer. You are looking at among them who is unblemished, who can put and bring all the other candidates together to rally support and eventually be able to save the situation come 2028. And I have no doubt in my mind, and I believe my colleagues do not have even a shred of doubt in what they think about Dr. Osei as the best candidate, especially when we are looking at the appeal to the ordinary Ghanaian within the space who do not belong to our political fold, but are looking into the system and begin to judge among the candidates who rather fit into our socio-economic system, who really understand what the time is, and who really understands and give us a better perspective as to what the message should be, which is a prosperity message. That is what we afford the party people.
Yeah. So you have said so much about your candidate. To be able to win power, to be able to become a president and run a country, you need a person who is able to bring people with different expertise to rally around him to win power and actually run the party. But it looks like your candidate is said not to have that kind of a posture or that kind of, is not that kind of person who can bring people around him. Just some few days ago, one person he worked with closely, the former Deputy Director General of the GS, indicated to us that your candidate left all or put aside expertise from experts and people who had been employed at the GS to work with. We see the spokesperson of Kennedy Japan, who used to be one of the closest allies of your candidate, also having to move from your candidate to join another candidate. What do you say to people who say your candidate is unable to rally people around? Your candidate is a one-man show person and would not be able to lead a party as expected?
What I will tell you is that I believe there are prominent names in this country that we can give or you can cite from. I believe you know Professor Namwa Mensah. I believe you know Professor Adoma Samwa from University, former provost for the College of Engineering. All these people within our society were part of the Educhum process, and they are still part of the Educhum process. I was with Educhum at the Ministry of Education together with Kwesi Kwarteng.
Hello, Yao. Hello, Yao. Unfortunately, we've lost Yao on Zoom. Yao Opoku Mensah. He speaks for the Dr. Yao Osei Educhum campaign team. As you were, he's also running to be the next presidential candidate of the NPP. Technology and network are not our best of friends at the moment, and so the line there dropped. We were unable to connect to Yao again. My friend, interesting perspective from these spokespersons and the various campaign teams. I I'm really looking forward to January 31st. I am.
Yes, Sammy, when you follow the campaign of these candidates and the kind of messages they are putting across, you would realize that each candidate is carving out a message they believe that would draw delegates to themselves. So they talk about unity, they talk about marketability, they talk about someone who can finance the party.
Okay, Fred, I'm not cutting you. I'm told Yao is back on Zoom. Just get him to summarize his statement and then we call it a day. Yao, as you were saying before the line dropped.
Yeah, so I gave you specific names of prominent individuals within the space who were part of Dr. Yosei activities at the ministry. And that is why I say that I am at my lowest end, especially coming from a personality that Dr. Yosei handpicked from nowhere to the Ghana Education Service as a Deputy Director of Education. And it tells that loyalty is of vital importance within the political discourse. And this is just a specific individual who should have known better. And that can never be a yardstick to judge the personality of Dr. Yosei Aduchum. And if you don't have anything to say about him, you don't do this to him, especially within the political fold, when we know the candidate that this individual is campaigning for, and this individual is trying to catch the eye of that particular candidate, which is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. We have, understanding the process, decided to stay away from engaging individuals within this space, which will eventually affect the reputation of the party. That is not what we are looking at. My candidate is a personality that respects the emotions and the understanding of the NPP people. And therefore, this is the right moment to motivate and bring them up to speed with what is required to be able to salvage the situation for us in 2028. And that is why I keep telling you, the good people of Ghana within that space who do not belong to our fold are ready and willing to embrace Dr. Yosei Aduchum. And delegates are also ready to do same come 31st January 2026. So when you put all these together, judging the personality that we are looking at, judging from where he's coming from, and judging the historical antecedent that my brother put out with respect to where the votes come from, then it is right to point out that, fortunately for the NPP, there is a candidate from the Ashanti region who has a strong leverage in there, who can give us that ultimate that we are seeking for, rather than going to experiment with any other individual. So I can bet you, the very individual who had the opportunity to speak, if given that same opportunity, will begin to revise the notes. And that can never be the Aduchum that we are talking about. That is why Opoku Mensah is with Dr. Yosei Aduchum.
Yao, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Yao Opoku Mensah speaks for the Dr. Yosei Aduchum campaign as they prepare for the NPP's presidential primaries on January 31st, 2026. Earlier, you heard Pius Enam Hajide speaks for the Dr. Brian Echampon campaign team. You also heard Kwesi Kwati, he speaks for the Kennedy Ohene Jampon campaign team. And you also heard from Agba Humeni, who speaks for the Dr. Mahamadou campaign team, a deputy spokesperson, to be precise, to the Dr. Mahamadou campaign team. My name is Sami Wiafe, his name is Fred Tete Jabon, and we brought you the Situation Room that comes to you every Thursday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. So we come your way again next week. May the good Lord be with us all.